What's going on, everyone? So, according to reports, the Milwaukee Bucks are looking to either trade just to clear off the salary or are going to waive Andre Jackson Jr., right? I'm not really a fan of this. I think he is, and he was a guy that was looked at as part of their future. He's incredibly young still, 6'6", athletic, 6'10" wingspan, shooting 38.5% for his career from three-point range. A guy that, the Bucks believed was a franchise piece, right? Not like a superstar or anything like that necessarily, but just a guy, a building block, a young player that you could have, that you can grow and develop, which Milwaukee desperately needs right now because they are in this like purgatory. And now they have to get off yet another young guy, another future piece, another just guy in general, even if they're not like super fans of him, right? Like you're getting off of a guy that you could play, that has been good for you when he does play, that has kind of some of that upside and potential, so you can sign Giannis Antetokounmpo. I have no problems with the Bucks signing Giannis in order to, appease Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's your superstar. You make him happy, right? No issues with that at all. Where my issue is in having to give up a young guy that you really need, that actually can play, that actually can be a part of the team for now and the future, to sign Giannis in order to appease Giannis Antetokounmpo. And this, again, is another further example of something I made a video about a little while ago, like, I don't know, it's probably about a month ago now, and that is that the Milwaukee Bucks, they need to get off of Giannis. At this point, Giannis is just hurting the Milwaukee Bucks, not intentionally. It's not like Giannis is over there going, I'm going to tear apart Milwaukee from the inside. But Giannis doesn't want to be the bad guy, right? And the Milwaukee Bucks are in purgatory. And whatever little moves or options or things that they could do to kind of give themselves some leeway, they are continuously exhausting in order to not have to be the team to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. But none of the moves are enough to do anything. What is getting rid of Andre Jackson Jr., who's been very good for them and is a promising young player for them? What do you gain by getting off of him and bringing in Giannis, who's older, unplayably bad? I mean, he's literally a Shaqtin' the Fool highlight. He's literally only on the roster because of Giannis, which again, I have no problems with. Again, Giannis is your superstar. Keep him happy. Make him happy. Do what you got to do. But that's literally the only reason you would do that. The only reason you'd get off of a young, versatile, two-way, 3-and-D wing to sign a guy that is probably never going to see the basketball court for you outside of garbage time. The only reason you do that is to appease Giannis Antetokounmpo. But again, that's another move that Milwaukee is making that hurts them in order to just appease Giannis rather than just trading him, hitting the reset button, realizing like, hey, it's over. Thank you for the championship, but it's time to move on. Because what's going to end up happening is Giannis next offseason or whatever is going to end up going like, all right, I'm ready to go now because Milwaukee's going to be a play-in team or they're going to lose in the first round again or whatever. And because Milwaukee there's no moves for Milwaukee to make. Yes, they got an upgrade in Brook Lopez and Miles Turner. Excellent move, excellent pickup. But you lost Damian Lillard and Brook Lopez, which they lost Damian Lillard regardless. I understand that. But they had to waive and stretch him over the next 5 years when Damian Lillard probably wasn't going to opt in because he hated being in Milwaukee. So all you had to do was just kind of ride it out for a year and explain to Giannis, like if he leaves, all of a sudden we have all kinds of things that we could potentially do, right? And we're not going to be able to win a championship regardless this year. So do you either want to be traded or are you willing to ride it out for a year? Right? But no, you didn't do that. You ended up waiving and stretching him. So now if Giannis leaves next season, now you're really in trouble. Because now you have a roster that's a play-in team. You can't bottom out because you don't own any of your picks. And you have and you're going to be in cap hell because you decided to stretch and waive a guy that you're going to have to pay like $30 million a year for the next like 5 years. It's just they keep making these decisions to appease Giannis Antetokounmpo. And it's like, at what point do you go like, all right, we like, what else are we supposed to do here? Right? Again, I understand they don't want to be the organization that trades Giannis. I understand they don't want to be the one that initiates that. Neither does Giannis. I think it needs to be a mutual thing. I think both of them need to sit down. Whoever, sparks the conversation, it doesn't matter. Right? When you go to the media, you just say like, hey, we both, we talked and kind of worked through, and, he asked questions, we had questions, and, it just was best for us to just part, right? I don't even think Milwaukee Bucks fans would be upset. I think everyone kind of understands the situation. Milwaukee's cooked. Like, it's going to take Giannis averaging 50 during the playoffs in order for them just to even have a chance. And look, he's good enough. And you are in the Eastern Conference, so you never know. Maybe you just kind of stumble your way in the NBA Finals. But realistically, winning an NBA championship, I just don't see it. I mean, I don't think that they have a terrible team. I think that there's potential that they're pretty good, right? Like, I can see them being like, a playoff team. But a real championship contender, I don't. They're going to be so reliant on like Gary Trent Jr. and Kevin Porter Jr. Hey, like, those guys are solid. I think they're great. Dude, Gary Trent Jr., it was like 3 seasons ago now, like led the league in 30-point games or something like that. Like, the guy could go get buckets. And he was really good for them last season. But as like your second option, as your primary scoring option next to Giannis, it's not really ideal. Like, I don't think that that's the play. That's the move. Like, that's the one. I just think Milwaukee is just digging themselves a deeper and deeper hole. And eventually that hole is going to collapse and they're going to get stuck under it. And they're just going to be atrocious for a couple years. And they don't, like, if they had all their picks and stuff, going forward, because what they need, they're hoping that Giannis sticks around and retires. And then when Giannis retires, then like they're out of this situation. Like, Dame's already been paid off. Everything's already done. Boom, 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 boom. And then now they've already gotten past the wave where they owe a bunch of people draft picks and stuff. Right? And then, hey, Giannis is done. We did right by him. We tried our best. And then you're kind of restarting, resetting. But like, talking like, so you're, for the next like 15 years, you're going to be terrible. So it's just like every like 40 years, you're planning on winning a championship, right? First with Kareem, and then, or Lou Alcindor, and then go into, a Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't get it. I think that this is just another move that just isn't justified in order to just make Giannis happy. And it's like, for what? Like, that's a guy that, even if he ends up being nothing, like, let's say he's out of the league in 2 years, he's still a young guy that you need to see. Still a young guy that you need to try with, because you need those kind of guys. And it's the only way you're going to be able to find those kind of guys, is get those like low risk, high reward guys and hope that they hit. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else we're not, we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.